This is a swarm that I picked up off the floor a month ago, and we've just had a quick look in once before and gone, yep, she's laying. But now we've gone in again, look, one cell there, both emerged. No eggs or larvae, just a bit of sealed brood. They obviously felt that she was a bit of a damp squib, only being able to fly a better yard, and they are superseding her, so we've got to hope that they manage it. This apiary is exhausting. It's on a steady slope, and you're rocky the whole time when you're in here. Bees don't mind, but it doesn't make it easy. What looking for, carry out? Eek. Right, brood and a half. I will get my breath back. So far we've done 8 hives here, and they have all needed feeding.
There's nothing in that.
Well, we'll just check. With this one probably needs feeding as well. This one did have 3 supers on, which 2 of which must have been fairly full for us to give a third. So it's pretty bad, and it's not a bad apiary. You can see it's quite wild round here. It's a ferocious June gap, and the blackberries are not out here yet. I'm sure there will be other apiaries where they'll be blooming, but this one, no. Anything.
That's worrying, it's no stores.
It's quite warm. There we are, we've got silk brood. I've been on a real good one today, in that I've been through 4 hives and I've seen 3 queens, which is very unusual for me. I find I go through patches where they come out and wave their little legs at me. Bless them. We've got larvae, that's good. See, the trouble is, when there's little nectar about, the big colonies, they've got the sort of firepower to get out there and find stores, but they just eat them as soon as they bring them in. They're literally living hand to mouth. So there's a couple up there, got a bit of nectar, no sealed stores at all. Well, they'll eat that. They're big colonies. And the positive thing is they're not swarming.
Have they got the strength in their wings to swarm?
No. No, they sort of go into quiet mode. Careful, darling, there's a real long bit of brace there. That's everybody's going to sit on. The swains. Right, that should have eggs on it, we hope.
Got larvae on it, yes, it's got eggs.
Good. So we're going to have to come back because we have used up all the fondant we brought with us. So there we are. Luckily, as Stuart says, this one is, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles from home, not too bad. So we can hop back and come back again. Stuart's carefully taking off that so that when he puts them together, he doesn't catch bees. They're not very bracy hive, but just a little bit. He will put the half back on and have a quick look, see what's going on there. I didn't look underneath, did I? But I don't for a minute suppose they're thinking about it.
Nothing looking like wanting to.
Yeah. Oops, let me smoke them. This is a danger. Whoa. You've got a beard of bees hanging down underneath, and if you're not careful, you'll squash them. So I've smoked underneath. We try not to use too much smoke, but it's very handy to stop bees from getting squashed. So there we are. He's not going to look in there. He says there's nothing in it. So there we are. We'll come back. just to show you what's going on around them. You should always be keeping an eye out on what forage is there. But we've got buttercups, but buttercup pollen, they only seem to give pollen, and it's poisonous to baby bees, so they do work it, but they shouldn't. There's a little bit of life left in the raspberries, the wild raspberries, but not much. They're actually turning to raspberry now, and nothing yet on the blackberry, which are going to be the next things out. So we're not very high here, but we are a little bit higher than we would be at home. You can get a better look at the raspberry flowers here. As you can see, those ones are turning to raspberries. There are the odd one, so the bees are just getting a lick, but not much, and they're getting absolutely nothing yet off the bramble, which is either in tight bud or there's the odd bit with a little bit of white showing, so it'll be a while yet. Oh, there's one fully out. That's not going to do much good for 9 beehives. The Welsh poppies are still flowering, and the dear old foxgloves are flowering, but they have protective sort of hairs in them, which stops honeybees from being able to go in. You have to be a big fat bumblebee to be able to get in. And the hawkweeds, don't ask me which one, do occasionally see honeybees on them, but not much. So I reckon with a bit of warm weather in a week's time, there may be some stuff that they can gather, but just at the moment there really isn't. I found a patch that is out, and it has got a few bumbles on it, so yes, hope for a week. We could do with a little bit of rain. They're deep rooted, but they still need the rain. There are honeybees on it, so hopefully another week things will reverse. Okay, this we don't understand it really. This looks like a really good lid. It's really wet. It's not even rained since we were here last time, or maybe a little bit, but as you can see, it's a good slug home. We fed them last time. They've eaten it pretty well all. So it's a nice little apiary really. It's the other end of the same woods as the previous apiary. It's probably about 3 miles. It's quite a big woods. So
Beautiful bees.
nice bees. So there's so far here we've gone through Stuart's. We've been through 3. There's only 4 in the apiary. Mine didn't need feeding. Both of Stuart's did need feeding.
So does this one.
As does that one.
Nothing.
So there's nothing in the super. We'll give them half a pack of fondant that we've just cut up. We just use plain baker's fondant. We used to buy the other stuff in, but then we were told that it's exactly the same. So we've changed to it, and like everything at the moment, you've got to make little savings where you can, and baker's fondant bought in 12 kilo boxes is a lot cheaper. Nothing so far, no... Pardon? Oh yes, there's a bit of patchy brood. Oh.
A little bit of nectar.
Right, so they found a little bit of something somewhere. The one next to them had found a bit of something somewhere, but there's not the brood we'd expect to find in this particular hive. See, big. They end up, eating themselves out of house and home. A bit better there. So it looks as if the queen has really slowed down her laying to cope with the June gap, and that's despite the fact that we gave them a kilo of fondant to tide them over about 2 weeks ago.
Jeepers. Oh, sod. Look at them.
Yeah, so quiet.
Well, these are quiet anyway.
Yeah, everything's quiet at the moment. Well, just about everything's quiet at the moment
We've
because
got
they
a
can.
little bit of eggs, we've got a little bit of larvae, we've got a little bit of seed food.
I'm going to go and get you the
They're shutting down.
fondant. Yes, that's how bad it is. They are shutting down because there's nothing much for them. Pretty poor. So there's a 2 kilo slab of fondant that we've just cut up, and Stuart will give them half of it. In the winter we'd put it on in the bag, but at this time of year we just give it to them loose. It makes it easier. There we are. Right, I'll help him with the fondant. We've come back to the first apiary we were at. We gave these just a little splodge earlier. As you can see, it's hot under the roof, so it starts to spread out. They can really get at it. The bees are very grateful, and we've given them a bit more now. 2 more to do and then we can go on.